Manoj?
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Just give 2 minutes. No? Students are going to come.
No, the limit is how many students?
Hello.
Because students are saying it is full. My students are trying to enter, but it is showing full. And I can see only 90 some students have joined till now.
No, 100 students are there. We'll give them YouTube link now. I'll forward sometime. Just wait.
This is only 100 ka limit.
Yeah, 100 ka limit.
Okay, I thought 500 ka limit hai.
No.
Okay.
Andrea ma'am, I guess we need to start now.
Yes, sir. 2 minutes that girl is just joining and then we'll start, sir. 2 minutes and she'll be here.
Okay.
Manoj, are you posting the YouTube link?
I'm posting you link in 2 minutes. Just give me time. I've just copied the link.
Okay, will do. Not an issue. Thanks.
Andrea ma'am, can we start? Andrea ma'am.
Sir, she's having a problem, so I think I will only take over and start. Just
Yes.
give me a minute. Yes. Good morning to one and all present here and our esteemed guest. Try not to become a man of success, rather become a man of value. Albert Einstein. I guess all of us are here to learn something about value and incorporate it into our daily lives. A very good afternoon, a very good morning to everyone present, our esteemed guest, respected principal madam, and all my students and teachers present here. Today, our discourse is going to be value education, something we strive, something we need to incorporate into our daily lives because of the ethical construct and the formations in and around society. On behalf of Department of BCom Honors, DLLE, and Department of Business Communication, Thakur College of Science and Commerce, it gives me immense pleasure to introduce our speaker for the session. Talking about the importance of value education in a student's life, value based education aims at training the students to face the outer world with the right attitude and values. It is a process of overall personality development of a student. It includes character development, personality development, citizen development, and spiritual development. Some people think that personality is an inborn characteristic of a child and it can never be developed or honed. However, this is not true. Personality development sessions and a good school selection can make a radical change to the personality of a child incorporated with value based education that is essential for this development and will help the student or the learner for a lifelong process. It gives a positive direction to students to shape their future and even help them to know the purpose of life. Our speaker for today is Dr. Sondurajan, who is a professor by profession and the HOD of Value Education at the Department of TNTEU Chennai. He has work experience of 22 years and he has an excellent educational qualification in the field of economics as well as value education. He did his graduation from the very renowned university, that is the Annamalai University in Chennai. We are glad to have you on board, sir. Please continue and take over the session. We are awaiting a value based education that we can all take and incorporate. Thank you. Please take over, sir.
Manoj,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
can we start?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. First of all, I thank our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor N. Panjanadam, sir, given me the opportunity to given the guest lecture for Thakur College of Science and Commerce, Mumbai. And also I thank our registrar in charge, controller of examination. He is also both of the given the permit me to given the guest lecture for the college. And I thank personally, I thank our coordinator, this coordinator Manoj Mishra. He is always young and energetic, simple, polite, and the honest man. Why I am saying this word? Because value is one of the honesty is essential each and every the persons are there. He is always sir, when you are coming, phone empty. But I am not disturbing for you, but you are always encouraging me. I think itself because we are educators. I most probably I wholeheartedly thank our coordinator this program for the become the commerce, Manoj. And I thank our Parul Singh, Dean of Commerce, and Dr. Zerlin Agarwal, Convener, DLLE Committee, Ms. Ramya Rai, HOD, Business Communication, the Department, and other friends are directly or indirectly helping me for the value-based education. Okay, we are going to the business. We can start from the because why I'm saying this, you are in the business in the commerce main. This is also a business. Oh, we are going to my lecture on the value-based education. First of all, what do you mean by And what I mean by the value education is combined together in the both, the term is ordered. The value is one part and the education is another one part. Because I'm a teacher of educators, education in the field of particularly for the BEd, MEd, MPhil courses, education is a modification of human behavior, each and every, the behaviors are changes. The somebody's are asking question to me, how the behaviors are changed. Sir, I don't know the change of any behavior for me. No, just you can imagine. What is your behavior on LKG and UKG? What is your behavior on 5th standard? And what is your behavior on 10th standard? And what is your behavior on +1, +2 level? And what is your behavior on undergraduate and postgraduate? All the behaviors are same? No. Each and every, the behaviors are change. So what do you mean by value? It is education is one side, and another one is what do you mean by value? Value, the so many other they can explain only by the so many the definitions are there. So value means is desire. How we are going to desire. Value means it's a good or bad. Value means is yes or no. Value means it's a right or wrong. So if you are the word combined together in this concept of value education, you can add the both stations are there. So value education, what do you mean by value educations are there? In this modern society, education continues to be regarded as a good source for the development of the individual and the societies. We can take off on individuals is one side and another one side is society. What do you mean by an individual? What they are knowing by the concepts. Education play an important role in the socio-economic development as well as in the ethical development of our individual. Just now, our introducing the madam, he is also explaining in this concept of moral and ethical. Ethical and moral, it's also the one of the value concepts are there. So the individual, each and every individual, they can gain of the social development, the socio-economic gaining of ours. And the social, the instrument for the each and every, the ethical development is also the concept of individual. Then the another one side is the concept of what do you mean by society? The society consider as the instrument for the improving the socio-economic condition for the subject and as an instrument of promoting the qualities. What are their qualities are there? The one side, if we are two concepts are there, one is individual and another one is societies. The individual, they can thinking only by the himself or herself. It is a gaining of economic status and the other things are there. But the society, they can, if you are improving the qualities are there. What are their qualities? For example, tolerance, justice, sharing, and cooperation, etc. These are the development of our society. Okay, come to the point. How we are going to link with our friends? How we are going to relationship with our neighbors? How we are going to facing up in your classrooms? So each and every the qualities we can the inborn of ourselves, we can development of our societies. So the tolerance, justice, sharing and cooperation, these are the qualities it's also we can inborn and the development of our societies. So come to the point, the development and social oriented citizens, the good qualities we can explain the development of organization. The second one, I think, the development of socio-economic conditions of citizen, the development of economic, social, political aspects of society. So we can accumulate and the concept we can making for the value education base, we can improving himself or herself. So whatever it may be, value education nowadays is essential for us. What are the value education? Value education has a permanent role for the playing a society that the tolerance, human, socially cohesive, and ethically the rightness are Professor Sheshatri 2005. He is also explaining the term for the value education. Values are integral to the process of education. They are not ordered. All education is sense. Value education is considered only by the bringing out a desirable one. So the first, I am also clearly explaining in this concept of the changes are desirable or good or bad. Yeah, right. Each and everything, the value concept is essential for the himself or himself. So those who are knowing this concept for the value, it is something we have the development of our individual or society. Yeah, tolerance. What do you mean? I am asking the question for the cultural and other things are there. What do you mean by life? How we can the thinking of our life? What do you mean by life? Life is here. The best mechanism of adjustment and the tolerance is the best life. So whatever it may be, if you are live in this world, we can choosing for the tolerance and the adjustment and the human being. For example, in this present scenario, the human value, I think it's a loss. Why I am saying this word, if the human value is lost. So each and every in the human being, if you are losing for, so we are not properly teaching for the students. Then only the human being, if you are losing of our this one. So Swami Vivekananda clearly explaining what they are says for the value education. The immoral is selfish, moral is unselfish. Swami Vivekananda clearly explained. So whatever it may be, anything if you are doing it immoral, that is a concept of our selfish. If anything, if you are do it. If you are morally, it is a unselfish. So if today we want only the moral and other things are ethical concept, if value education, how if you are going to treat it as in this concept of our the value based education in our present scenario. So each and every the society we can, if you are going to introduce the value concept, is essential for the present the scenario. If why I am saying
Hello, Soundarajan sir. I guess some connectivity issue at your side. Soundarajan sir. I guess there is some connectivity issue from sir side. Till the time, Andrea ma'am, you just carry on with the value word. So like I'll just see the connectivity issues from his side. I'll just call him.
Yes, sure, sir.
I guess we need to put 2-3 students in waiting room.
Yeah, to get so we'll have to do
Otherwise,
so.
it won't be accommodated.
Uh, so I put the students in the waiting room. So did you manage to speak to sir? So you're on mute.
I just spoke to him. He's just reconnecting.
Okay, okay, fine, sir.
Okay, okay, okay.
इशारा खवा के
Basically some connectivity issue at his place, so he's coming out of that room.
Okay, sir.
Connected, like I guess. So I just told him to come out of that room, so he'll get the connectivity.
Okay, sir. So, sir has joined the meeting.
Yeah. I'm making him a co-host.
Yeah.
Sir, you are not. Sir, you are now co-host. You can start, sir.
Hello, Manoj?
You're a co-host. You can start now.
Okay, call Satrupa.
Yes, yes.
So sorry for disturbance for the internet connection. Sorry.
Yes.
Okay, it's no problem. So what is okay, no problem. What are the meaning and the definition of value education? Professor Albert clearly explaining in this concept of value is a belief upon which man acts by preferences. So whatever it may be, the preference and the choice of preference is essential. And one thing for sharing my views in my PhD thesis, in the title of a study of values of college students with reference to some selected variables. Why I am choosing this topic is essentially as I have completed my PhD in 1996 onwards. So why I am choosing in this topic for the particular for value education nowadays, the college students, they are not helping for others. The college students is roughly they can using for the words and other things are there. Then only I am choosing the title of my PhD thesis, a study of values of college students. Also clearly explaining the preference, the four choices are there. For example, I am asking, are you becoming a businessman? If I am asked the questions, if you are given the first choice, there are 4 marks. The second choice, 3 marks. The third choice, 2 marks. And the fourth choice, 1 mark. It's an alternative we can choose. Because why I'm saying in this word, if all your students itself, the commerce particular, or BCom and the DLD, the student, whatever it may be, the value education, there are 6 types we can calculate: theoretical, economic, political, social, aesthetic. The 5 different the category we can the classifying the values are there. So nowadays, what are the value, the definition and the meaning? Well, what do you mean by values education? Values are guiding principle of life which are conducive to all-round development. What do you mean by the conducive to all-round development? They give direction and families to them, the bringing of joy and satisfaction. Whatever it may be, if you are considering this concept of joy and satisfaction, the joy and satisfaction, how if you are going to analyze, if you are going to analyze the joy and satisfaction, we cannot analyze. Then how if you are going to analyze in this concept for the value education in there. And the second, the author clearly explaining the meaning of value education. Values are formed on the basis of interest, choice, needs, desire, and preferences are there. Whatever it may be, if you are given the values, if you are choosing the title for value education or value-based education or value-oriented education, whatever it may be, if you are choosing in this field, but anyhow, we can ourselves, himself or herself, we can rectify the value for the notification. And if you are the clearly explaining the satisfaction for himself or herself. And another one, the author clearly explained according to John Dewey, the value means primarily to praise, to esteem, to appraise, and to estimate. It means the act sharing something, the holding there and passing judgment for the amount of values compared with something else. So the John Dee clearly explaining what he mean by value and the other things. If you are valuing, what are the value if you are calculative, and value education if you are the meaning and the definitions are there. Rogesh, he is also explaining in this concept of in 1973, value means as a enduring belief, a specific mode for contact, and or the end along with the continuous for the important. So whatever it may be, the so many others in the given by the value education, value education is nowadays is essential or not. So what are the different things if you are the connective and the meaning and the definitions of values are there. So value, the N.K. Dutt 1986, he is also explaining in this concept of value. A value is defined as an endeavor which satisfy need system, psychological as well as their physiological needs. Almost all human beings have the same physiological needs, but they differ in their psychological needs, hence differ in their value and in the style of value. So whatever it may be, if you are live in this world, the value education is essential. And the next one is, what are the nature and the concept of values? So any one topic, if you are going to given the what are the need and importance and what are the nature and what are the concept and what are the aims and objective, everything, if you are the framing of, if you are framing of our and the dissertation work and the thesis work, what do you mean by introduction? There are, if you are classifying the first 5 chapters are there. One is introduction, the second one is a review of related literature, and the third one is in the methodology, and the fourth one is analysis and interpretation, and the fifth one is summary, conclusion, and the recommendations are, if you are in the framing. So whatever it may be, if you are in the framing is essential. So someone is there asking, what do you mean by learning? Learning is the continuous process until death. Today I am also learned, but I'm an economics teacher. But I do not know for the survivor and the problem for the serving for problems. So I do not know how we can analyze in this concept and supportive for others. So whatever it may be, the learning, it's a continuous process. How we are going to teach. If I am also teaching by only the B.Ed students and the B.Ed trainers, but it is a new one I entering for the arts and science students. Because why I am saying that we are the teacher, as a teacher, we have to know, we explain for the concept of our the value-based education. So what are the concept and the nature of our values? The concept and the nature of values, if we are combined together in this concept, the value education is a form of education, stresses the acquisition of living by the learner. It inculcates universal and ethical values such as companionship, courage, honesty, tolerance, and truthfulness. Each and every the persons, if we are having, the honesty is essential, tolerance is essential, courage is essential, truthfulness is essential. If you are working any one institution, if you are royalty for institution, this is also one of the values.
So you are on mute.
Soundarajan sir, I guess sir, you are on mute now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Manoj?
Yeah.
Okay. It's automatically lighting it. So what do you mean? Okay. So the another thing is, if we are considered only in this concept of value education, we have the 3 basic elements that are there in our teaching in this concept of the B.Ed courses: cognitive, affective, and psychomotor. There are 3 different sources. Each and every the moments, if you are working, they are the reaching of your goal. Sir, I am also asking one question. What do you mean by objectives? What do you mean by goal? And aims. So what do you mean by aim? What do you mean by objectives? And what do you mean by goals? All the 3 are same and all the 3 are differs. For example, what do you mean by aim? If you are planning for me, if you are calling the value-based education, you have find out, and whether it is, if you are going for in a net collections, who is the best person for or who is the best one for the value-based education? If you are searching and collecting my name, if you are taking those somewhere, it is in your aim. And what is your goal? How you are going to approach him? If approach him accepted or not. So if you are aim, if continuously they are going for the goals, when you are the fulfillment, if you are fulfillment of your aim and goal, if you are reaching in your goals, if you are reaching of your objectives, so whatever it may be, What do you mean by aim? What do you mean by goal? And what do you mean by objective? There are the three different ways are there. I am also studying one teachers are there. I think it's in the 12th standard. One teacher simply coming there, clearly explain for the no word is where seen book and other things are the one history teacher. He is also longly explaining for 1 hour lecture. I am also appreciate. That time I am also thinking, so this is a teacher, if you are doing well for him, the teaching profession. So we are also planning. I am also planning for the joining teacher as a teacher in school level or college level. If you are planning for school level or secondary level or primary level, I am also joining for university levels. So if you are planning for 5 years or 10 years or 20 years, if you are, I am also planning for the more than the 22 years. Or nowadays, if I am also for having the 25 years of experience in the field of teaching experience, because as I have joined at 1996 onwards at Annamalai University as the simple lecturers. So in this concept, we have to, what do you mean by the value concept? If you are going to analyze and explaining for this value, there are three domains: cognitive, affective, and the validational for the psychomotor domain. The value goes beyond the cognitive domain and affective domain. The incorporate of the elements are the deposition for to act as the preferences. So whatever it may be, each and every, if anyone, the three domains, cognitive, affective, and the psychomotor, there are three domains. Anyone, they are not functioning. The other two, they are not functioning. Yes, it is the true concept for each and everyone there. For example, I am also asking one by question: who is the father of economics? Who is the father of economics? Immediately I can recall so many names are there, but which one is correct? The recall and recognition is essential. If you are recalling for so many names, for example, Ricardo and J.S. Mill, so many other. Whatever, who is the correct person for the father of economics? The Adam Smith, he is also explaining in this concept each and everything, so many names. But recall and recognition is essential in your subjects. So the three domains, cognitive, affective, and psychomotor, we can explain in this concept. But each one is functioning is one and others are there. And another one, if you are going to explaining in this concept for the concept of values, yeah, values are relatively stable and persistent in the words. It is accepted that it is a person behavior. It can be the predicted for his the values. Values are the determined by the attitude behavioral individuals are there. Previously, I am also explaining in the term of in the very first beginning what do you mean by individual and what do you mean by society. These are the connected between in this concept for the goal of teaching the value is to making for the last someone times in the benefit growth for the people in the society. Sometimes it is a very truthfulness for them. It is concluded that it is what do you mean by the nature and the concept of value. Values are standard and the guidelines for of individual life. So value, it's a standard. When you are standard, it is a individual is standard or society. Yes, individual means if you are gaining for individual. For example, I am also joined here only the professor and other things are. If you are there, benefited myself and my families are there, but they are not benefited by the society. But society means if you are involving the relationship, everything, we can learn the tolerance, how we are going to tolerate for that, how we are going to the honesty for that, how we are going to the ethical, everything we can the mingle with of our society, we can more than enough for our energy. So values are standard and guidelines, and values influenced by the individual experience. Each and every the values they can explain only by the individual, influenced by the individual. So the individual, not only individual, the experiences are the desire and the specific solutions. When anyone problem arises, what is the problem? Why the problem is arises? How we are going to solve? How we are going to solve? When you are going to solve? If you solve the problem, they can start it by the next one is. So what is the problem influenced by the individual and the desire? And what are the standard and the guidelines? And what are the value mode for the organization? The so many guiding principles are, I think it's the 20 principles are there. The last one is values are influenced by the emotions. So we are also in this concept for the value educator, the educationist. We know about the what do you mean by the concept of values. Value is very, very important role in this concept of our nowadays. So what are the classifications of value? So many classifications. I am also explaining this concept of my thesis PhD, this is theoretical, economic, political, social, and aesthetic. Here itself, there are 11 classifications are there. For example, one is personal value. The second one is social value. The third one is moral value. Fourth one is spiritual value. Fifth one is cultural value. Sixth one is ethical value. And seventh one is behavioral value. And eighth one is instrumental value. Ninth one is intrinsic values. 10th one is aesthetic values. And 11th one is democratic values. I think it's the 11, the classification, each and every behaviors we can. That's why I'm saying, what do you mean by education? Education is a modification of the human behavior, not in the animal behavior. Each and every, the behaviors are changed. Then only what are the classification? The personal values. What do you mean by personal values? How if you are thinking the person, if you are thinking only by the personal values, the personal values of individual fourth and the desire. Then only I am also previously I'm saying, what do you mean by value? Values are desire. Values are preference. So in this concept, the desire, the individual irrespective of his or her, the social relationship is essential. The personal value is the development like him, the imbibe on like the values for the personal level. For example, what are the personal values are there? The personal values, it is ambition, cleanliness, discipline, honesty, loyalty, courage, creativity, determination, dignity of labor, excellence, hope, maturity, regularity, punctuality, self-confidence, self-motivation, simplicity, accomplishments, and the purity, etc. These are the personal development for the values. What are there in personal development? Each and everything the personal means if you are purely it depends upon the individuals. The individual, a purity is a personal value. The simplicity, sir, I am also simplicity. Okay, it's a value. So combined together in all aspects are there. So what do you mean by maturity? Maturity is also one of the values for the personal value. Regularity. Be anything if you are regular. If you are anything, it's a punctual. Anything is a self. And Maslow clearly explaining in this concept of for them the hierarchy theory of Maslow theory. Maslow theory, if you are explaining the psychological term, the highest value, the highest theory in the Maslow theory is the self-actualization inventory. So the basically, if you are kind of self-esteem, self-confidence, and self-confidence and self-concept and self is everything in the Maslow clearly explained in this concept of in the psychology and the hierarchical theory for one is in the Maslow theory in this concept of the self-actualization. So we have to the develop of all the 11 theories of the personal values. So if you are development of all the theories, in the personal value, what do you mean by personal value? Personal value, if your meaning of it, the individual and the determinants of dignities of. And next one is what are the social values are there? The social in this concept of the behavioral introducing one madam the behavior, what do you mean by personality? A personality means if you are combined together all aspects. If you are wearing it, so stress is one of the component. Cognitive, affective, social movement, emotional, each and every in the component we have to the combined together the concept of personality. So personality not only mentioning for one or two. If you are combined all even, So I am also explaining for the lecture and other things are there. So what is the behavioral concepts are there. So the social value is mentioning this purely for the behaviors or behavior. What are the behavior if you are going to explain for the belief or shared within the specific gender for the every the movements with the link with our social group. So we have to explain the social values are practiced in relation to our how we are going to the practice it within the social world. For example, neighbors, the community, society, nation, and the world. The values are good for the society, for the basis for the relationship, the individual with the people for the others. A neighbor with. So, now what do you mean by education? Where the education is born? What do you mean by the education? Who is the first person if you are the education? For example, I think it's parents as a first teacher, teacher as a second parent. So I think it's if you are, I'm also going to teach in any one classroom. So all the students are simply, if you are simply, they can look for me. I am also thinking, the students are look for me, what they are observation. So all the students are physically present, but in the mentally absent. So each and every, the students are physically present and mentally absent. So whatever it may be, in any teacher, if you are going to teach in your classroom, if you are analysis the mental behavior of our students. So if you are, the students are ready to observe in your teaching, if you are going to teach, for example, any one classroom, 50 students or 60 students are nowadays in the 100 and something students are there. The 100 and something, all the students are eagerly, they are waiting for me, the lecturer. So something is going on. So all the students are physically present, but mentally absent. The social value they can explaining in this concept, for example, for what are there, for the courtesy, charity, civic, fairness, goodness, neighborliness, trust and truth, accountability, brotherhood, forgiveness, freedom, friendship, gratitude, hospitality, justice, love, patience, responsibility, service, sharing, sympathy, team spirit, and tolerance, etc. These are everything. If you are going to succeed, the team spirit is essential. Cooperation. If anyone work, if you are the combined in the cooperance and the cooperative for the together with working, we have to definitely we can succeed anything. So all the values are we have to follow. If social movement, how we are going to talk with the neighbors, how we are going to talk with our fathers, and how we are talking with the friends, and how we are talking with the brothers and the sisters. These also, if you are the learner, that's why I'm saying what do you mean by learning? Learning is a continuous process until death. Whatever, how the today is also how I am going to teach with your the arts and science students. So easily, if you are the determined, we have to accept it. So what do you mean by, and what do you mean by moral values? Moral values are those that enable the individual is making for the between the right and wrong. So morally, if you are a developer or not, whatever it may be, if you are choosing moral or immoral. That's why I'm saying Swami Vivekananda, he is also explaining who is moral, who is the immoral. The self is immoral and the unself is immoral. Swami Vivekananda, he is also clearly explaining what you mean by morality after the moral and the immorals. So whatever it may be, the each and every, the passions, if you are giving the moral value is essential. If you are right or wrong, good or bad, it is basically in each and everything, the human being is essential for in this concept of moral values. So if you are the moral values in the example for the self-control, justice is moral values. Equality is moral values. Human dignity is moral values. Honesty is moral value. Integrity is a moral value. Sense of responsibility is moral value. Compensation in etc. Each and everything is a moral value. So what do you mean by the personal value? What are there the example of personal value? and what do you mean by social value, and what are there in the for example of social value, and what do you mean by moral value, and what are the example of, and what do you mean by the spiritual value. He is also explaining this. That's why I'm also says in, if you are going to introduce the value education in the LKG and UKG level, why I'm saying in this, well, if you are present scenario, if you are not knowing for the Mahabharata and Ramayana, if you are going to teach Mahabharata and Ramayana, definitely all the students are become the valuable persons. If you are knowing for the Mahabharata, if you are knowing for the Ramayana, the two different concept is explaining it's only for the values. What do you mean by dharma and what do you mean by adharma? He is also explaining this concept of our Mahabharata. The Vishnu is all explained in the Krishna Paramatma in the Gitachara. So whatever it may be, the spiritual value and other things are there. If you are the inborn on for the school level for the best. So it is a characterized in the reflective for the non-material dimensions are there. What are there in the personal experience which enduring the worth of our spirituals. It is a divine. What are there? The connecting for the realization of for the self and being one of the divine. So whenever if you are the realize for yourself, whenever if you are the realize, for example, what if you can ask, you can realize why you are in the teaching for the story for the Mahabharata and the other things are there. If you are inborn, we have to live. You can separate for the individual and the society. The example for the spiritual values, truth is a spiritual value, beauty is a truthful values, the spiritual values, goodness is a spiritual value, unity is a spiritual value, love, joy, self-giving, wisdom, self-discipline, devotion to God. Each and everything, if you are considering this concept of the spiritual value. And the next one is cultural values. The cultural value, each and every the movements, if you are accepted or the accepted, the unaccepted, if you are concept for the important or unimportant, right or wrong, whatever it may be, we can adapt it only with the cultures. The culture is a commitment if you are the one say religion to another. If a culture transformation is essential for the development. For example, if you are wearing the sari is in Tamil Nadu, and the north, if you are no one, if you are wearing, but the tradition we have to follow. The culture is yes, wherever if you are go, our culture. This is my culture. We don't share for my cultures. What are there in the, for example, for the concept of the culture, the example of our cultural values, the hospitality is a culture. Code of conduct is a culture. Social order is a culture. Tolerance is a culture. Gentleness is a culture. And non-violence and love only is a culture. So many aspects. Hospitality, how we are in the hospitality for your, the visitors are there. How if you are going to, the hospitality is essential. And the code of conduct, we have to don't bother about others. The code of conduct is essential. And what are the social order, how they are thinking by the social movement. Tolerance, each and every, the world is stressed by the tolerance. If anyone they are having the tolerance, definitely you have to achieve anything. If everyone, if your gentleness is a cultural value, if non-violence is a cultural. So if you are in love with one another, love with your affectionate person and the ethical value. What do you mean by ethical value? The same thing if you are moral and the ethical value, it is a, more or less it's related. For example, in this concept of honesty, what do you mean by honesty? What do you mean by truth? And what do you mean by the concept for the abuse it's and the self-realization is essential. The ethical and moral more or less is the same thing if you are consider only the for the integrity of value. And what are the behavioral values? The behavioral values is report in the good manner for each and everything. We can change that. That's why I'm saying what do you mean by education? Education is definitely the change of our behavior. The behavior value is also a change of successful and joyfulness. You have to definitely change. So what in this concept of example for the behavior, coordinately, integrity, trustworthy, kindness, loyalty, and example for honesty is example for the behavior well. If the behavior changes, if you are definitely you have to achieve. And what do you mean by instrumental values? The instrumental value is just like that the individuals. In the individual is like only for the behaviors. The behavior means if you are anything is considered only for example, in this concept of what do you mean by individual and what do you mean by the value for increasing the values? So whatever it may be, the instrumental value is gaining of economy and the increasing of status. How if you are analysis the gaining of our economy and increasing of status. For example, I am also completed my MA, MD, MPhil, PhD. If you are the status is also increasing in the society. But I think I'm a professor and a HOD and whatever it may be. For example, the instrumental value examples of education and the political power. Whatever it may be the political power, if you are accept and anything you have realized. So in this concept, we have analysis for the instrumental value and another value for the intrinsic values. What do you mean by intrinsic value? Intrinsic value is only by the judgments. What are the judgments? The judgment is good or not. If I am also finding the hypothesis of the result, today I am also finding the result this, or tomorrow we can definitely change each and every that's why I'm asking the changes of behavior. The intrinsic also is if you are expecting the time itself, the judgments are there. That judgment for the example, the intrinsic value, goodness is intrinsic value, beauty is intrinsic value, artist is intrinsic value, happiness is intrinsic value, truth and blessings. You are it's good if you are becoming a doctor, if you are becoming an engineer, if you are becoming a businessman, if you are a blessing for others, it is an intrinsic. That if your judgment is correct, if judgment is may or may not be are correct, sir. May or may not be sir correct. Whatever it may be, the truth and the blessings, then only the intrinsic value. And next one is aesthetic values. What do you mean by aesthetic value? Aesthetic value is pleasure and happiness. Today I am also given the lecture for the Mumbai. All the students are benefited. That's I am also happiness. That I am also pleasure. That I am also joyness. That is one of the value for aesthetic value. The Rousseau, he is also the great philosopher. He is also explaining this concept of aesthetic. Each and every nature you have to enjoy. Flower, what is the flower? The rose, very nice, very beautiful. Someone is like on the music, okay. Someone is thanks, okay. So whatever it may be, if you are pleasant, whatever if you are happiness, you have to enjoy your. That is the concept of aesthetic value. If you are enjoying well, wherever if you are going the botanical garden and the other things, you have to enjoy the flower show and other things. What are the, for example, the example of aesthetic value? Beauty is the aesthetic value. Taste is also no. I think a hobby. It's a good thing for taste. It's I am also enjoy. I am also the happiness, architecture, and literature. These are the happiness for the aesthetic values. And the last one is the democratic values. The democratic values, each and every the person individual we have to the respect for each and everyone. Nowadays, I think it's I was studied in 10th standard 79 and 80. I am also respect for our elders. I am also respect for teacher. But still, how many the students are respect for teachers? So, if you are respecting the democratic value, if you are respect each and every in the person, the respect is essential. If you are respect for example, the irrespective of sex, if you are respect for irrespective of sex, caste, language, religion, color, race, family, status, etc. If you are given the respect for the irrespective of others, So if you are irrespective means whatever it may be. For example, in the ensuring the equal, the political, religion, right, and the justice of the irrespective of the sex, caste, language, religion, color, if you are given the democratic values. According to the school curriculum 2000, truth, rightness, conduct, peace, love, non-violence are the core universal value for the become of foundation building value-based education. These are the what are there in the nation curriculum. If you are framing the five, the universal based value-based curriculum. One is truth. The second one is rightness, conduct. Third one is peace. Fourth one is love, and fifth one is non-violence. These are the very, very important for the curriculum for if you are framing it. So whatever it may be, you are a human being, the persons are the responsible person. If you are having a values are essential. Why we need the present scenario for the value education? Because we are living in 21st century. If your need and value education is essential or not, I am asking question for you. What you have to thinking in your mind? If your need are essential or not? Why I am saying, why I am asking these questions in this world? If you are 21st, if you are living, we must live in this world. Value education is essential. Why value education is essential for in the present scenario? A value education is needed in this present scenario. Corruptions, immoral, social disturbances, community, religion, everything if you are destroy, the value education is essential. Everyone, if you are the 11 values, the classifications are there, definitely you are become the human being are the humanation. Each and every the persons if you are the human. That's why I'm asking the question for you. So each and every the persons if you are having a values, you are a human being. It's no doubt. It's no doubt. So whatever it may be, the value based, the value education is essential in this the present scenario. For example, Article 51A clearly explaining in this concept of Indian citizenship what are there, promote harmony and a spirit of common brotherhood, transcending religious and regional or sectoral diversity. Value and preserve the rich heritage of our composite culture, protect and improve the natural environment, develop the scientific temper, strive towards excellence in all spheres of individual and collective, actively so that nation constantly rises to higher level of endeavor and achievement. So in this concept, the democratic social order is our nation. What are there the objectives of the constitution in India? The constitution in India, the above four pillars, what are there in the democracy for there? The one is justice, the second one is liberty, third one is equality, and the fourth one is fraternity. So these are the four pillars of the democracy in this world, or the constitutions are there. If you are whatever if the fundamental rights for value confirmed, our constitution have been evolved out of philosophical, sociological, and the cultural traditions in India. So that the fundamental rights granted in the Indian constitution also for reflecting the values held by the Indian nations are classifying under 7 groups are there. What are there? Right to equality, right to particular freedom, right against exploitation, right to freedom of a religion, cultural and educational rights, right to property, right the constitutional remedies. So these are the seven fundamental rights that were confirmed by the constitution evolved by the philosophical, sociological, and the cultural tradition. These are the value expected from the citizens of our country in seeing fundamental duties laid down by the constitution. What are the fundamental duties of our the constitution follows? To abide the constitution and the respect of national flag and the national anthem. We have to respect of our national flag. We have to respect of national anthem. It is the fundamental right. To cherish and follow the noble ideas which inspired our national struggle for freedom. And next one is to protect sovereignly unity and integrity of India. To define the countries, to promote the spirit of common brotherhood among us to all people in India, to preserve the rich heritage of our composite culture, to protect and improve the natural environment, to develop the scientific temper and the spirit of inquiry, to safeguard public property, to strive towards excellence in all spheres of individual and the collective life. So these are the fundamental our Indian nation, we have to also explaining the fundamental duties leveled made in the constitution as follows. Definitely, we have to follow. Definitely, we are all the value education. We are also a human being. Nowadays, in the human being, value education is essential if you are live in this world, the peace of world, the peace of mind. We want a peace of mind. We want a peace. The value education is essential. So if you are going to conclude my session, but conclusions are there. Values are matter of developing appropriate behavior and habits, right attitudes and understanding, ability in discriminating and choosing right from right or wrongs. Values can therefore be inculcated by creating their right atmosphere and promoting learning by example rather than perceptions. Education without value is waste. Education without value is waste. Education should be given with moral values. Education, young minds without value will create a menace in the society. The values are guiding principle of life with the help for the all-round development of the soul. If you are having the values, education is essential. Without education, we cannot learn by the value education. So I think it's the great, the patience if you are listening me to my lecture. So in between the 5 minutes, if you are the interruption to the internet, so sorry for that, the inconvenient. If you any one day, if you are next, I will come. What do you mean by the aims and objectives? Definitely, I will come and do the sessions. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you, sir. Manoj.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. So definitely for that. Now I request Andrea to take on and move further.
Yes, thank you so much, sir. Can we have Aryan for the vote of thanks?
Thank you, Andrea, ma'am. A big thank you to Dr. Sandhya Rajan for your deep insights on the topic, value education. The aim of education is knowledge, not the facts, but of the value, said by William Law. We all are inspired by your great words. The change begins with us, and I'm sure we all will come together to formulate that change in the coming years. I, on behalf of Department of BCom Honors, DLLE, and Business Communication, would like to thank the college management, principal madam, vice principals, and the college staff for the support in organizing such inspiring event for us. I also extend my thanks to the volunteers from Department of BCom Honors and DLLE for all the contribution in organizing this program, and to Department of Business Communication, Thakur College of Science and Commerce, and the technical support for conducting such an enriching session. Last but not least, I would like to thank all my friends for attending the session and making it a success. Once again, I want to state that we all are most grateful to host all of you. We thank you for being with us. It's been a great pleasure. Have a great day ahead. Stay home and stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Aryan. Manoj sir, I think we can wrap up and
Soundarajan sir, thank you so much, sir, for enlightening.
No, no problem, no problem.
Definitely, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, so sir, we are going to carry forward from here. The next lecture will be on.
Okay, no problem. The next lecture, definitely I will give and what you mean by aims and objectives and what you mean by the objectives of what. So each and every in the persons, if you are having the value educations are there, if in the present scenario, if you are having a value education in the all aspects of classifications of value, definitely the saving for a human being.
Okay, sir. So thank you so much. Sir, can I?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm leaving.
Okay, sir.
Oh, thank you.
Andrea, ma'am, now you can conclude the session.
yes, sir. Thank you everyone for joining in. I hope you had some takeaways on value education. And sir, your guest lecture was really inspiring. I'm sure all of us will be elated to take something back and incorporate it into our daily lives. Thank you and have a nice day, everyone. Take care. So you'll end the meeting, sir.
Yes, yes.